around this time last year, USC was waiting to play a meaningless game at Cal. Now UCLA has taken on that role. Happy Thanksgiving, Trojan family.
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I am your host, Mark Holkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC your first listen every day. Whether you're watching on YouTube or wherever you like to download your podcast, we are free, as always. And I want to thank all of you for coming along for the ride. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. And if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't done so already, why not? Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It means a lot. And to those of you who have, you are part of my Thanksgiving thank yous. So, playing a meaningful game in November is back at the Coliseum. Kind of cool. I mean, I suppose we can call 2020, that conference championship game, a meaningful game. But that season was kind of whack. You know, that season didn't count. And yeah, I know why I'm brushing it off. Selective memory. But now it's number 5 or 6, depending on who you think is giving the accurate ranking. USC versus number 15, Notre Dame. So number 6, USC in the college football playoff ranking. Number 15, Notre Dame. The greatest intersectional rivalry in the history of college football. Yeah, nobody else is willing to play this type of game every single year as long as USC has. Stanford and Notre Dame play every year, but it's not the same. If there was ever a 1B, Stanford would be the 1B, and it's, you know what? Stanford beat Notre Dame this year, so anyways. But like I said, this is a pretty big game at the Coliseum this Saturday. And Lincoln Riley recognizes this as well. There's so many great reasons to want to play this game and play well. Where do you stop, honestly? The opportunities for this team getting a chance to play in a historic rivalry. Obviously, the last chance for this team to play in the Coliseum, to continue the momentum we have, just to get a chance to go out there and compete against a good opponent. It's awesome. It's how you would hope to be finishing up a regular season. It'll be a great setting. It'll be a lot of fun. Our team will be extremely excited to play this game. Yeah, there's a lot on the line for USC. For Notre Dame as well, not nearly as much. The higher ranked they are, they guarantee themselves a particular type of bowl game payout. So, yeah, winning is crucial to them. They need to get that 9th win. But Riley, he continued this week. A lot of comments before the Thanksgiving holiday. He went on to say there's a ton of momentum. We've got to do our part there. And the fans have to do their part as well, because that makes the atmosphere better. I've been harping about this. That makes recruiting better. That makes the home field advantage stronger. That's why most teams are so tough to beat on the road, because they have a tremendous home field advantage. It makes a difference. And so I think there's a really, really cool product here. The history of the city has been, when there's a really good, successful, high-quality products, the following is unbelievable. And that's, I think, where we're headed. And we're all eager to get there, end quote. I know that was really long. What Lincoln Riley was not so subtly saying is he's calling out the Trojan family. Get your butts to the Coliseum. This game should be sold out, period. Look, I understand, some of the students are home for the holiday, but fill that stadium up. Only 77,000 seats. USC has not played in a sold-out Coliseum this year. It's senior night. I think they deserve it. 10-1, going up against Notre Dame the week before the conference championship game. with the playoffs on the line. Yeah, Lincoln Riley saying, bandwagon fans, get out there. Things are going well. High quality product. Anyways, last year at this time, Trojans were 4-7, and they were being asked to go play a game in Berkeley, meaningless game at 8 p.m. after the Pac-12 Conference Championship game had already been played. I mean, look, I get it, TV contract, you got to do it, whatever. But this year, the Bruins they get to play the Bears in front of an empty Memorial Coliseum in Berkeley, California. That's because USC is going to be playing their most meaningful, yeah, I'm going to say it, their most meaningful game since Clay Helton was coaching the Trojans into the Rose Bowl. So it's been about 5 years. And this is going to be Lincoln Riley and Notre Dame head coach Marcus Freeman's first rodeo as respective head coaches in this rivalry. Back in 2010, Eric McKinney pointed out over there at wearesc.com, he pulls out all the great info that everybody should want. So make sure you take advantage of that $10 flash sale we still got going all the way through the end of Fall Camp 2023. Such a deal. You should be thankful. But as I was saying, back in 2010, Eric McKinney pointed out that Brian Kelly, LSU's new head coach, and Lane Kiffin were first-year head coaches in their rivalry. Now, Lane had been around the USC program forever, but last year, Marcus Freeman was the Domers defensive coordinator, the Fighting Irish. But Marcus Freeman does have some memories of playing in the game in the Coliseum. Might not enjoy those memories, but he was part of that 2008 Ohio State Buckeye team. He was a linebacker on that team, and they got their buck nuts sent back to Columbus. Yeah, it was a big time beatdown, 38-3. Yeah, USC they're not there. They don't have that 2008 defense, but they're working. They're working their way back to that. Long way to go with the defense, but there's a lot of excitement with the team offensively. So, what Marcus Freeman did say is that the rivalry feels a little bit different going to Los Angeles for the final game of the season. He quote, "To be a part of this rivalry for the last game of the year, and there's a lot on the line for both teams, and this is a huge rivalry for us that goes back many, many years. There's a different feeling about this one, and I can feel it amongst our program and our players. I knew it last year, but this year, being at the end of the year and at USC, you could really feel it," end quote. So, look, rivalry games, they have how do we put this? A lot of twists and turns. Strange things happen. Notre Dame, when they're hosting the game, they like to, they always need some sort of extra, incentive, sort of, I guess, to get up, or maybe to get the fans up for the game. I don't know. One year, they actually rolled out a Trojan horse to the pep rally that Digger Phelps was leading, the old Fighting Irish basketball head coach. Notre Dame has been known to roll out those or slip on those green jerseys. They've been known to start fights in the tunnel as the team was coming out. But I think worst of all, what Notre Dame did was they grew the grass long one year because they knew they could not compete with USC's athleticism and their speed. And unfortunately, that type of stuff led to an injury to Desmond Reed. So USC doesn't need to do that. They just they get up for this game. They don't need any special jersey. They wear cardinal and gold at home. They wear white and gold on the road with the cardinal helmets. That's USC. So, with that said, that USC doesn't need any extracurricular motivation. There's a rumor going around that Brian Cushing, once a Trojan, always a Trojan, from that 2018, um, he's going to be leading the team out of the tunnel. So we'll see. Rumor has it. Again, and he wasn't just a great linebacker at USC. He also returned an onside kick for a touchdown against the Fighting Irish. So, yeah, I can't think of a better person. Maybe Reggie Bush. Make it so. That would be phenomenal. That would be over the top. Maybe. Who knows? If I usually hear stuff like that, I haven't heard it. But, there's still another day to go. We'll see. I have a feeling wherever the big noon Fox big kickoff show, whatever the heck they call that thing, wherever they're going to be, that's where Reggie Bush will be. So follow wherever they're going. If they're at the Coliseum, you never know. You never know, right? All right. Oh, we're going to talk about Underdog on this episode. This episode is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to spice up your college football season. It's an over-under contest. It's so easy. You pick between 2 and 5 players across any team, not just your own, and then you decide if they're going to finish higher or lower. So you can go over there to underdogfantasy.com and check it out. See if Caleb Williams is going to throw for more than 4 touchdowns. Will USC's defense hold the Fighting Irish running game below a certain amount of yards? It's that type of stuff, that easy. Again, pick 2 to 5 players or pick'ems. It's, again, one of the easiest fantasy to play games out there, and you can win cold hard cash in a single game. Sign up with the promo code LOCKEDON, that's one word, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. Deposit $100, get $100 free. So go to the underdogfantasy.com or the Underdog Fantasy app in the App Store, Google Play Store. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code LOCKEDON, one word. Get in on the college football pick'em action today. All right, we are back for this segment. We're going to talk a little bit of how USC could possibly lose this game to Notre Dame. And it's real simple. Alex Grinch lays it out. The Irish, look, let me make sure everybody understands this. They're playing a lot better at the end of the year compared to when they lost to Stanford and Marshall at home in South Bend and struggled and barely held on to beat Cal in the same place. So, with that said, they're playing better this time of year. So again, how can USC lose this game? Well, the Irish have a very, consistent offense. It consists of we want to run the ball, and then if we have third down and long, we're going to use our tight end Michael Mayer, who is considered the best in the country, and going to be playing in the NFL on Sundays. That's who they are on offense, and these last 5 games they've been doing pretty good. Now, granted, the outside of Clemson, the competition hasn't been great. Their last game, they did beat Boston College 44-0. Excuse me. And Audric Estienne, Logan Diggs, and Michael Mayer. So Audric Estienne, I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Logan Diggs are the 2 running backs. Michael Mayer is the tight end. Notre Dame has rushed for at least 220 yards in 4 of its past 5 games. So, something else to keep in note, I mentioned the tight end, Michael Mayer. His high this year includes an 11 catch game that went for 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did that against BYU. 6 degrees of separation connection. USC played a pretty good tight end in Utah. I'll take him here in a second. Estime, somebody correct me how you pronounce his name. I don't want to disrespect the young man. He leads Notre Dame with 782 rushing yards on 11 touchdowns. Diggs has just under 700, 698, and 2 touchdowns. And as far as catching the ball in the backfield, they've combined for 11 and 194. Michael Mayer, on the other hand, he leads the team in all receiving categories. He's got 59 catches, 711 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Okay, I think you know what USC has to do. Stop the run game, cover the tight end, right? Well, USC defensive coordinator Alex Grinch, he called this game a challenging one. He called the Notre Dame offense, quote, a very difficult one, end quote. They do a good job of making it very challenging defensively to kind of earmark where the ball is being directed in the run game. The gaps responsibility, they change with shifts and motions and a lot of surfaces. 4 guys next to the center, and so it really makes it difficult to add numbers everywhere you need it, end quote. And then he went on to add that Michael Mayer is the best tight end in the country. As I mentioned a moment ago, the Trojans did have a nice midterm test with Utah's Dalton Kincaid, who literally probably turned himself into an All-American in that game. So hopefully they can reflect back to the midterm and pass this final test against Michael Mayer. Because if you can keep him from getting those 11 catches and 100 yards and multiple touchdowns, USC is going to be in a really good position at the end of the game. So Alex Grinch, he was also very succinct regarding how do you stop Michael Mayer. Quote, tackle him when he's got the ball, end quote. You can come up with a lot of ingredients. If you've got 2 guys on him, one of the 2, if not both of them, have to get him on the ground, end quote. It's that simple. Tackle the guy. Don't let him get the extra yardage like Dalton Kincaid did. So I'm about to go on a rant here. Stand back. In a moment. A little ahead of myself. So despite the big yards and the points that USC has given up, you would think that USC's defense has done enough for Alex Grinch to, kind of throw along some compliments, some kudos, some positives. And he said that the individual results have been positive. But big picture stuff, quote, you start going through the roster and say, which guys on your roster are having their best year of college football? And this isn't me being too positive, which I struggle with sometimes. But that's not a long list. Now, collectively, are we getting what we need to get out of the group? No. And that's my job. I've got to get it out of them. We've got to play more consistent. And so the frustrations are all the same, end quote. Now, it might not seem like Alex is happy, but that's him being happy. He accepts what they've done, but there's always room for improvement, and he's always going to strain and push the guys to strain to get to that next level. That's what you want from your coach. And he takes responsibility. It's up to him to get it done. As a player, you appreciate hearing that. You will go through, you will put your head through a wall for coaches like that as long as they remain consistent. Look, now's my rant. If I was Alex Grinch, this would tick me off. Grind my gears. So the Trojans are ranked number 6 behind a 2-loss LSU. We've gone over this week on Locked On USC. But because we're talking about the defense, and I'm going to connect the dots here all along. Again, number 6, ranked behind LSU at number 5. Playoff committee chairman Boo Corrigan said at Tuesday's rankings that the committee wanted to see more from the USC defense, considering it allowed 45 points to UCLA. Screw you, Boo. By the way, here's a little bio on Eugene Boo Corrigan. He's the director of athletics for the North Carolina State Wolfpack, member of the ACC, Previously, Corrigan served as an associate athletic director for Duke University, the University of Notre Dame, and the United States Military Academy. So kudos to you for USMC Military Academy. But I see a little bit of bias hanging out there. Hey, Boo Boo, why do you need to see more? Well, I don't understand that. Have you not been paying attention to the team that leads this country in the plus minus? I mean, seriously, dude. I got a lot stronger language that I want to use, but I'm refraining. I'm being nice. It's Thanksgiving. I'm full. Stovetop was on the table. It tasted great. Anyways, I digress. I guess to me it kind of comes across as because he's from the ACC, he's and Clemson is behind USC. It was kind of his subtle cheerleading. I don't know. It made no sense. Since when isn't beating ranked teams enough anymore? Now you're being graded on your defense? Are you kidding me? Now, Alex Grinch said he didn't hear the comment, but he understands the comment. I don't. Quote, from a criticism standpoint, Saturdays that's your resume. From a coaching standpoint, from a player standpoint, there's no dodging it. We're very honest in that and understand that the chief goal each week, listen carefully, is to find a way to beat the opponents by one. Now, after that, it's to play at a high level defensively, and if they score one, you've got to have some level of frustration about you. End quote. Okay, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. The bottom line is winning is the bottom line. Beating ranked teams on the road, even though it's at the Rose Bowl, means something. How many times have we heard coaches across the country say, winning on the road is hard? I mean, since when is beating ranked teams come with extra stipulations when USC is involved? Are you freaking kidding me? And here's another thing why I'm getting, this whole ACC thing is kind of, yeah. It's not just, there's an East Coast bias. It's not just the SEC. Let's just throw the ACC in there too now. Remember, it was Paul D., Miami Hurricanes athletic director, a member of the ACC, who was in charge of the USC investigation, the whole Reggie Bush scandal, who said, quote, high-profile players demand high-profile compliance. Remember that guy? That fat wad? Yeah, I'm bringing my opinion tonight. Anyways, may he rest in peace. It was just about a year later, after Paul made those comments, that a bigger scandal appeared at Miami. Not their first one, by the way. And what was so infuriating was that the way that Paul D. kind of, oh my gosh, I have no idea. I'm ignorant to this whole situation, what's going on at Miami. Quote, we didn't have any suspicion that there was anything going on like this when Paul was referring to Nevin Shapiro, the super booster. Really, Paul? You had no clue that a booster was hanging out, trying to punch associate athletic directors in the luxury suites? You had no idea, right? And he was trying to punch out your associate athletic director because they were telling him he couldn't pay players anymore. Sure, go ahead and play ignorant. Yeah, I'm a little hot under the collar right now. Again, why this extra high standard for USC? I don't get it. Anyways, there's still a lot of upside for this USC team. I think everybody would agree they're a year ahead of schedule. And with that upside, um, you're always looking for new things. And USC is going to bring some new things to show. Boo, Corrigan. Speaking of upside, whether it's driving less, dining out, or buying less from the grocery store, we can all agree there's nothing fun about less. That's why I started using Upside. Upside is this incredible app for anyone who buys gas, groceries, or dines out. With Upside, I don't have to cut back because I get cash back on every purchase. So, whether you're buying gas, grocery store, dining out, just use the Upside app. Check out some of the offers nearby. Check in, pay with your credit card or debit card, and you're going to get paid. So, this is how you get started. Download the free Upside app, use my promo code LOCKED, and get $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. Next, claim an offer for whatever you're buying on Upside. Check in at that business, pay as usual with a credit card or debit card, and you're going to get paid. Upside users are earning more than $1 million every week. That's probably why they have a 4.8 star rating on the App Store. So download the free Upside app and use promo code LOCKED to get $5 more, $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more using promo code LOCKED. Okay. Excuse me. Just we're going to throw some random stuff out of there before we close out this week of Locked on USC. By the way, thanks again. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving, and I really do hope everybody has at least one thing to be thankful about in your own personal lives, not just USC football. You got family, you got friends, you got something to be thankful about. USC basketball men's hoops, they spent Thanksgiving or spending Thanksgiving in the Bahamas. It's kind of cool, right? Something to be thankful about. Well, after they won their game last night, today's game, they fell in overtime to Tennessee. Yeah. They had 6 turnovers. 82-76 was the final score, I believe. They made just 2 of 3 of their shots in overtime because of those 6 turnovers. They had 20 turnovers for the game. That led to 25 Tennessee Volunteer points. Boogie Ellis led the team with 21 points. He shot 50%, 7 for 14 from the field, including 3 for 6 from three-point range, 4 for 5 from the free throw line. Bottom line is this. This team needs a point guard desperately. I mean, bad. There's no reason they should have lost this game. None. They're going to end up playing Wisconsin for the 3rd place game. They lost to Kansas at the buzzer. So that's who USC would have seen in the final had they held on to win and not allow Tennessee to force overtime. A 3rd game with Kansas. Anyways, I think the Drew Peterson with the ball at the top of the key is a failed experiment at this point. Unless he gets that internal time clock down in his head, he needs to understand that you don't get to back someone down as long as you want every single time, period. I mean, there's so many guards on this team. But I guess it looks like Boogie Ellis is going to be the facilitator. Or at least that would be my coaching decision. Did you catch the Ole Miss Mississippi State game? I did. Egg Bowl. You know what? They had some towel waving, and I think the towel waving would be a lot cooler on USC sideline if they borrowed the smoke machine. Actually, it was a fire extinguisher, and I think that was Lane Kiffin's kid who was blowing smoke. Ole Miss did not win the game. They lost by 2. Bad red zone offense. Quick heads up for this game at the Coliseum. Heads up, the students that are still on campus, they're passing around a flyer. They want to head down to the field if the Trojans win. They're going to rush. They want to rush the field. Been there with Stanford. I don't need to see it again. Uh, I've mentioned this in the past. I'm not a big fan of rushing the field. USC should act like they've been there before. Look, I get it. I might be able to look the other way this time because of so much that's on the line. Um, but on that note, celebrations, yay or nay? They don't allow it in college, but they sure as heck encourage it in the NFL. I saw Amon-Ra St. Brown with a really nice touchdown celebration. Uh, although they lost to the Buffalo Bills, last second field goal. Amon-Ra represented the Trojans well on his way to the game. He was wearing Caleb Williams' autographed jersey that he sent him. St. Brown had a 100-yard game, touchdown. Dude's just a stud. Another random thought. If USC doesn't make the Rose Bowl and because they're going to the playoffs, should the team still get a free dinner at Lowry's Prime Rib? Because if you go to the playoffs, I guess there's no beef bowl, right? Look, I know that they're going to eat well regardless, wherever they go, especially in Vegas. Personal plug for me, I'm hitting up the Wicked Spoon buffet at the Cosmopolitan. Look, there are so many good places to eat in Vegas for the conference championship game. Tell me some suggestions. I've been to a lot of them, so throw them out there. You might have one or two that I've never been to. And final score prediction. It's here. USC 44, Notre Dame 13. Yes, I know. I'm riding that 20-year reunion train. Carson Palmer to Caleb Williams, handing off the Shillelagh baton to another Heisman for the Trojans. We're hoping that's how it ends up, right? All right. That's it. That's it for Locked on USC this week. Like Ferris Bueller at the end of the movie, why are you still here? It's over till next week. Go home. And until USC beats Notre Dame, everyone, you know what to do.